10 seconds to go. Jaron dribbles into the front court, drives to the bucket. His shot, no good. Put back up and in by Trayvon Scott. Cincinnati by 1. Rose from half court. His shot is no good. The snap, the put down, the swing of the leg. It is on its way. It is good. Cincinnati wins the American Championship.
Here comes the quarterback, Burrow, looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown! What a skipper! Called his own number and streaks for 23 for a touchdown for Cincinnati.
Welcome back for the first time all over again. We have a new coach, and his name is Wes Miller.
Just getting right into it then, huh?
I mean,
ask Ed how his vacation was.
We did fine without him.
Can you move your mic away from your mouth a little bit, please?
105.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
105.
105.
I'm proud of you boys. You guys did it.
We figured it all out on our own.
I had
Even though
5
Ed
calls
tried
and
to sabotage us by giving us bad login information, bad links.
Didn't tell us really how to do any of it.
We almost had to revert to using like recorders over our phone and just piece it together.
Not the plastic ones like you have in elementary school.
No, not
we almost
like
had to do that for our very first podcast 4 years ago.
I had the Kevin from Home Alone. I had the
Talk boy.
talk boy.
Talk Boy.
Talk boy.
My kids were home early.
Forgot about that.
We managed it. We put it together and it worked out.
I did have a talk boy back in the day, though.
And then it took Ed almost a full week before he actually listened to the whole thing. And we had the greatest ad reads of all time at the end.
Those ad reads were A+. Way to go, boys. We didn't lose any answers.
You know what the best part about Ed missing the show was? He was at home in his bed, probably watching Schitt's Creek.
100% watching Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I was at home on my couch watching Married at First Sight.
I am even less.
Which was apparently more important than the podcast that we pushed back 2 days so that you would be back home for, and then you stood us up.
I even
prom date.
I even logged into the YouTube page at one point to listen to you boys for a little bit.
You're the worst. Did you bring us at least home a jar of sand each?
No, I'm sorry.
Did you bring me back a shirt?
No, I didn't even buy a shirt. I bought some bourbon and some whiskey.
Not even anything that said like, I went to wherever you were at and I only brought you back like this keychain.
No, but I can print you.
I'm with stupid t-shirts. I'm with stupid t-shirts.
Yeah, what about that?
No, I didn't.
In fluorescent colors from the beach stores.
I'm with
or airbrushed.
Oh yeah,
it could have been airbrushed with. You could have taken pictures of each of us and had it airbrushed with characters,
and then say PTP and like graffiti art on the back.
Wow, you got to step up your vacation game, Ed.
Wasted opportunities.
I don't know if you guys remember the conversation we had this afternoon on chat about how much money we have in the account.
No, this should have been on your dime.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you're rich. You just redid your kitchen. You're rich.
That should have been lumped in with your vacation budget.
I'm sorry. I spent all that money on bourbon and whiskey. I apologize, boys.
I did
though.
So you could get real good and drunk watching Married at First Sight.
Instead you ever watch podcasting?
No.
It's a solid show. It's a solid show. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's a solid show.
Man card revoked. Bump.
You can't revoke my man card for watching Married at
First Sight. We started the show with Bum of the Week.
And... Bump.
Oh, it's great to be back, boys. It's great to be back.
All right. What do you got for us, Aaron?
I managed to go on a different podcast on Friday, if you guys remember that.
We don't promote other podcasts on this show.
Okay. You were You weren't on with JT? No? All right.
I mean, we promote our podcast on their show. But if we're going to do this, I could talk about, check me out on the BBP on bearcatjournal.com where we break all things down Bearcats. But in any case, we have a new coach. His name is Wes Miller. He is here from UNCG, which is North Carolina Greensboro. He apparently was the second in line behind old Herb, who got the job for North Carolina. Wasn't that his name, Herb?
Herb.
The guy who got the job at North Carolina.
Isn't that Herbert Smith?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Herb Jones. Go ahead.
No, I don't think it's Herbert Smith. That doesn't sound right.
I don't remember.
In any case, we have ourselves a new coach. From all accounts, it came down to Ryan. Ryan got peed on from Ohio State. I believe that's his last name.
It's Hubert Davis.
That was close. Herb sounds fun.
Herbert.
You're right. You're pretty cool.
I just threw the most generic last name on it. I was like, yeah, that's probably it.
It's my last name. It's fine.
All right. Go ahead.
But yeah, Ryan got peed on, didn't get the job. He has to go back to Ohio State. Also Eric Martin, that caused some waves in the Bearcat Alumni Association.
Is there a Bearcat Alumni Association?
I mean, of course there's an alumni association, but there's also a Bearcats alumni group for the basketball players and football players.
And we know from talking to Leonard Stokes a couple weeks ago that they all do keep it in relative close contact with each other. So
what was your initial reaction when you found out that Wes Miller was getting the job for your Cincinnati Bearcats?
Who's going first?
Just somebody start talking.
All right. So my initial reaction was that I had no idea who he was. To be honest with you, I had no clue. Oh, okay. Somebody's taking over the graphics. Thank you, sir. I had no idea who this man was. He was not on. Well, I don't. Ooh, that didn't look good. How do we fix this? There we go. He was not on anybody's list. Like he had not been talked about on Twitter or anything like that. So I did not know who this man was. And then I thought they said UNC, and I'm like,
well,
did this take new coach?
If you had listened to the Bearcat Bounce podcast, along with being subscribed to Bearcat Journal, they were talking about Wes Miller before he was announced there.
This is true. I did listen to that podcast the night before because that was on a Monday night, right? Yeah, so I did listen to that podcast, but I did not pay attention to that part.
Well, we touched on him very briefly because at that point in time, actually, NORAD was more being talked about as a runner-up for this job with Eric Martin.
Yeah, this NORAD gentleman. I thought he was going to make it. Coach for the Charlotte Hornets.
He was an assistant with the Charlotte Hornets. He was a G League coach. Yeah.
So I was kind of excited about that, even though he was underneath the CJB, era there at NKU, but
only for a year.
But turns out he left for a reason. He left for a reason. So that's good. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of then I guess I should continue on with what my first thoughts were. So then I start going and checking out, some of his stats. He's made to the NCAA tournament the last couple years. He's had 5 winning seasons in a row.
20 win seasons.
20 win seasons in a row. I mean, he's not some scrub off the bench.
He's been coaching for 10 years and he's only 37, 38
years old.
38.
And then I started looking it up. Top 40 coaches under 40. Number one. Do you know who number 2 was?
Travis Steele. Other guy over at Norwood State.
Travis Steele. So we have bested Xavier University again with our coach. So that's good. I'm glad that's happening. I'm glad we could do that. So that was my initial thoughts.
Aaron knows my initial thoughts, and I was not happy.
Yeah, well, you Jeff missed.
Oh well, I did Jeff miss, but we had talked about it leading up, obviously, quite a bit, and my thoughts anchored in Eric Martin were Eric Martin plus Nick Van Exel or some other players, kind of expecting that if Eric Martin got the job, that then you would have, at least probably a good majority of his staff former players from UC that have made it very clear that they are interested in coaching, be it James White, DeMar Johnson, Nick Van Exel, and that they could kind of return UC back to being bullies on the court and the things that we had come from and come to know UC basketball being. And obviously Eric Martin would be the closest thing that the university's ever going to get to getting a bringing back Huggins, right? And you always hear that regardless of who the coach is, if there's a stumbling time during the season, it's always like, well, if Huggins was here, this wouldn't happen. If they hadn't gotten rid of Huggins way back when, this wouldn't be the case, right? I mean, we always hear that. So I was kind of anchored into this, like, we got to bring Eric Martin back. We got to bring Eric Martin in and then let him fill out his staff with former players so that they can bring in, these kids and kind of, it wouldn't have to be like summertime basketball pickup sessions to get them to understand what UC basketball is.
Well, let's be honest. Everything we had heard at that point from Saturday, I believe, was that it was going to be Eric Martin, right?
It seemed pretty much a done deal.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there was, because like you heard about him interviewing. Mm-hmm. You heard that Nick Van Exel interviewed, right? Mm-hmm. But it was kind of like this thing where you
did not interview though.
Oh, he didn't interview.
He tweeted last night.
Yeah,
he tweeted last night. He did not interview.
Okay, so that at the time that was the information we were all kind of like working on, and obviously I will credit UC for keeping everything pretty close to the chest on what was going on with it. Then we heard that Eric Martin had interviewed a second time, and it was kind of like, oh, well, we all know what that means.
Well, and they were negotiating. That was being reported as well.
Right, and you always hear, like, whenever that second interview happens, it's always like, okay, there's the first, and the second interview is them, like, hashing out, like, whatever milestones they need to hit to get bonuses and whatever, and they're going to sign on the dotted line, yeah, you're going to make this much money. And then all of a sudden, it kind of like you could see it with like the information flow that was coming from different sources into several of us and whatnot, that like the Eric Martin thing seemed like it was kind of at a standstill for a number of reasons, or one reason, whatever. And some other names were starting to pop up that were getting reported. And then out of nowhere, I see a tweet that's like, we're welcoming our next head coach, Wes Miller. And I was like, the only time I heard his name was from Aaron when he was like, oh yeah, we talked about there is a Miller guy that's still in the running. And that was all Aaron said.
I think Aaron called it.
We did then like clarify that it was Wes Miller. I looked at like after he had brought him up, I did look at a little bit of his accomplishments, not quite very in depth, because still at that time it was like Eric Martin was a guy. And then whenever I found out, I was mowing my lawn, and I may have had a few adult beverages at the time, and I was upset. But as I did some more looking into it and was, told to, cool my jets a little bit, that I was being a Jeffamist again. I'm really excited. Like I'm extremely excited. When it comes to rivalries, he comes from probably the second most heated rivalry in college basketball, only to UC Xavier. So he knows what that's like, and he knows what it's like to coach in a situation like that, or at least play in a situation like that. So I think he could be very, very good here. And hopefully he has no chance to leave for UNC because maybe Hubert Davis will do very well there. I will root for him to do well there as long as we have success here and we don't want to lose Wes Miller.
What's he on, a 6-year, $8 million contract?
Aaron?
He is on a 6-year, $8 million contract, yes.
$1.3 million a year?
By all accounts that I've gathered from my different sources, Martin was offered 1.1
A year?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what he's making at West Virginia right now.
Not that.
Not that, yeah.
I think he's making roughly around 300, which I believe is about the same as what Wes Miller was making as the head coach at UNCG.
It's a nice little bump, isn't it?
I mean, that's.
Jeez.
He's making 1.3 now. But when it comes down to it, it's really hard. I mean, John Brandon was making 1.5, and when it comes down to it, like I don't blame Cunningham for not offering more than the 1.1 for a guy who's never been a head coach before.
So that's a great point. So like Mo Eggers, I was listening to the radio this morning. Mo Eggers said something that really stuck with me, and I thought this is perfectly sums up how I feel about it as well. He said, I'm disappointed for Eric, but I'm not disappointed for the university, right? And when I sat down and thought about that, it's like, and I think I told you guys this the other day, like at this point we needed a proven coach. Like the state that the university is in right now, we have 4 players. All of our players in the portal, we're late getting to the portal. We could not afford to hire an assistant, a third assistant at that, to come into this program and try to turn it around. It was going to take too long, and people would have got frustrated with Eric because he wasn't turning around in the first year, right? The first or second year. They would have done the same thing that we did with John Brennan.
I think Eric Martin is probably the only assistant you could have brought in here that would have had the ability to turn around, but it would have had to have been a team effort of like, I mean, it's going to have to be a team effort with Wes Miller too. Let's not act like he's like, the greatest thing ever yet. I hope he turns into that, but.
So I want to bring up another point too. And it's kind of what happened with Barry Larkin in baseball. People had talked about bringing Barry Larkin in to come back and be the head coach of the Cincinnati Reds, the manager. And if you had done that when people were clamoring for him, you would have set him up for failure because the team was kind of in shambles at that same point in time. If you bring in a guy like an Eric Martin, who doesn't have the experience, into what honestly it was the dumpster fire that John Brandon set with his Molotov cocktail on the way out the door.
Bullshit.
I almost think that those are apples and oranges, though.
I guess my point is, though, like you kind of set them up for failure, and that's the only way that I'm drawing any type of similarity here. Is just like if he doesn't succeed initially, we know how rabid this fan base can be.
Correct.
And if he doesn't, all of a sudden, especially if he has Nick Van Exel as an assistant on his bench, people are screaming, "No, it's Nick's turn. Eric, you're not that good." And it would have been, in my humble opinion, it would have been a hot mess for Eric Martin at that point in time because the fans wouldn't have liked him anymore. It would have been bad for Nick Van Exel because he's on the bench not really knowing how to react or what to do with any of this. Cunningham is kind of hamstrung because this is the decision that he made. Instead, he did a very, very thorough investigation, which you can't say that they did the same thing for John Brandon because we only heard, I think, 2 names last go around.
Yeah, it was a really weird.
Well, and it was Mike Bone, in all fairness, before he left, right before he was out the door.
Yeah, he was. That did. After he left, like pretty quickly afterwards, it kind of seemed like he was just like, yeah, well, it's pretty easy for me to make the phone call across the river and be like, hey,
we're good.
I'm guilty of it. Yeah, I'm guilty of it. Like there was a lot of people saying I think Mike Bone just made the quick hire, right? The one that looked good because he brought NKU to a D1 team. I was like I was cautious because I thought it was a pretty quick hire, but I was like, well, he's a good coach. I mean, he deserves a chance, but apparently, that didn't work out too well for me in my thoughts.
So now that we know that it's Wes Miller and we know kind of his coaching style, you can probably elaborate on that a little bit. Aaron, I'm sure you've read the same things we've read about that. What do you think? And we've all heard what he's already done. Made some phone calls, talked to some people.
Well, I mean, I think I was going to say I think that should be elaborated on a little bit more rather than just glossing over that one.
Well, I'm not glossing over it. What I'm saying is, of those kids that we know he's made phone calls to, which it sounds like it's at least been some of the kids in the portal that left from here.
Probably, yeah.
If you could only pick, if there are two that you want back here, who are they and why?
Mikey Saunders and Terry Easton. Tari. Why did I call him Terry?
I don't know. You could have just gone Peso.
I could have said Peso.
I think the odd man out would be Mason Madsen because, I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably the most replaceable, in all fairness. That said, I think he's also the most likely to be back.
No, that's fair too.
His list of teams that I've seen that of interest of him in the portal, and this only goes to say, like, once you enter the portal, like, you don't get a free pass back.
Yeah, you
right?
do.
Yeah, you're allowed to come back.
Yeah. It's at the university's discretion.
That's what I'm
once
saying.
You, once you enter the portal, what can happen is the university can say, "Well, you entered the portal. We used your scholarship." They don't have to sit and wait around for you to decide what you're doing.
That's true. That's true.
But if you decide to come back and they accept you back graciously, then that's at the university's discretion as well.
It's not it's at your discretion to enter the portal. It is not at your discretion to say, well, I'm coming back. Give me my scholarship.
You can.
Correct, we haven't used any scholarships yet, so.
Well, I understand that, but even though we have available scholarships, they don't just automatically get their scholarship back. They has to be given back to them, yeah?
The way things stand right now, I think these are the only three kids we're worried about coming back. I mean, Mamadou's not going to come back by all accounts. I don't foresee, honestly, a spot for Chris Vogt at this point, even if he wanted to come. Not that he's in the portal. I just don't think that he's going to be a fit. And his boy's out the door. His daddy's out the door. So I don't think that I don't think that's gonna. Do you guys validate? I don't think that's gonna be a. I hope people caught that joke, but I don't. I think that the only three names that you're going to keep track of at this point are just going to be Mason, Tari, and Mikey.
Yeah, I think so.
Harvey already signed at like UC Santa Barbara, right?
Correct.
Barbara.
And Gabe already signed with Utah.
Yep. And Mikey was supposed to make his announcement today,
and he pushed it back.
But he pushed it back. He said, what do you say? More to come, something like that. Stay tuned, something like that. So, and from what we're hearing, Wes was on the phone with players last night, this morning, and then was supposed to have another Zoom call with them tonight. So, he's trying. I mean,
well, he's got to. He's got 4 scholarship players.
Well, I mean, and at the end of the day, like, this is the low hanging fruit, right? Rather than start hitting the recruiting trail and trying to see who you can get out of the portal or whatever. Like, this is the low-hanging fruit. This is the easy stuff. They already played with the guys who are here for a year. Mm-hmm. So they already know each other a little bit without having to, I mean, regardless of the fact that nobody necessarily knows this new system now 100%, they at least know how each other work and how each other practice and how, like, they've been on the court with each other, and you start to get that familiarity with the other guys around you.
And
so
what did we say in January? What was the name of our podcast? Light at the end of the tunnel. Those young guys who we have since found out were only pretty much playing for each other because they kind of all knew at that point that they were piecing out at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They had flashes of looking good together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, you like you said, those are the low hanging fruit. Those are the kids that, I mean, we all kept saying like, all right, this is going to get to the, when you get to the off season, yeah, it wasn't the greatest season, whatever, like this, that, and the other. Go get a real big man out of the portal.
An athletic big man.
Or one that's not scared of everything. Like, go get somebody that can like assert their 7-foot frame and
I don't even care if he's 7 foot.
I don't either. I'm just saying, like, obviously these are that's a
look back on this.
Vote, but
I mean, look back at this past season though. Like, where were we running our best when Tari was at the 5? So if we get somebody who's like a 6'10", quick, athletic, knows how to use his body, get a guy from JUCO, get a guy from maybe one of these smaller schools. Like, I know somebody had said it at some point this past year on one of the podcasts I was on, but when Nsaseme was here, he could really throw his body around. Like, he was the type of guy that
he's playing pretty good basketball.
But he's the type of guy that you would want here in a run and gun type of system, not somebody who's clogging up the lane in a Chris Vogt.
Soft.
I did see that one of the UNC Greensboro players went into the transfer portal today, so it's a possibility he might be bringing him over too. So we have to think about that. There could be some players out there that we can bring over.
You also have to think about the fact that regardless of what they did at UNCG, that's a whole different level of basketball than our conference.
Yep.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And that's the same issue. Like, you don't want to fall into that. It's like the way that you don't want to bring over
a Rapolis Ivanauskas, or
right. You want to be like, hey, you were really good at Colgate when you played against us, so like now we're going to bring you here and you're going to be just as, like, it clearly didn't work. It
doesn't necessarily translate. Like, I mean, even look at what Kane Broom was.
Sorolla. Like,
well, he came
from. Hey,
don't
talk about Jay. Jay's upset overseas right now.
Sorolla came from what? Purdue, Vanderbilt? No, Valpo.
And he still wasn't very.
Well, I'm thinking more even like a Kane Broom, who he wasn't terrible here at all. He was relatively decent. I think he averaged somewhere around like
what, Sacred Heart?
Yeah, where he was averaging like 20, 22, something like that. One of the top scorers in the nation. And then he got here, and I don't know if it was mixed offense holding him back or whether it was just because there was a whole different level of competition here that he didn't face at Sacred Heart.
He didn't have a lot of deflections, I don't think. So. I had to.
I get it. Sorry, it took me a minute.
Deflections win ball games.
Yeah, apparently.
I had to. Yeah, so it will be very interesting, I think, to see. I think we'll probably hear over the next, like, hopefully week or so as to some decisions made by some of those guys, so that we can either welcome them back into the fold and go from there, or happy trails. I hope you have some success elsewhere, and then go get some guys to fit his system.
Ed, I want to break your heart right now. Dogecoin's up to 26 cents.
I wish I hadn't sold so many shares. I had
bought yesterday when it was at 9 cents.
I had like 10,000 shares at like a little over 1 cent. And it got to like 50 cents or like 5 cents, and I got rid of them. And then
I have 890 shares at 0.028 cents.
You have 890 shares right now?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
What are you up to?
How about this? My buddy had 65,000 shares and dumped them all right before the first like big dip when it went back down to like 3 forever. Like, he sold them at 5 or he's not kicking himself. It's going to hit $1. It's going to $1.
I'm up to like $234, but like Portnoy's been posting about it today, and Elon's been posting about it.
I should probably buy it.
I mean,
I
you
mean,
should have
you're-
bought. You should have bought an
should've
hour
bought it
ago when we were
when it was
talking
at
about
7
13 cents.
when it was at like 17 cents. Now it's at
It already
26.
doubled.
It's
Do you
going
think-
it's going up and up and up.
Do you think there's a chance it goes down again tomorrow?
Oh, it's going to tank again soon. But then you got to
Okay.
buy the dip. Then you got to buy the dip.
This is the trend right now, boys.
Damn.
Hello, welcome to Crypto Podcast.
That's just today.
To the moon.
So
Clay's not coming on.
So I did want to bring up a little bit about, because I know that this is Ed's favorite thing to do, is talk about the glory days and the alumni and all of that. So you see things that come out where, like, Terry Nelson, who's on vacation and maybe had some adult beverages,
That's what I was attributing that to, yes.
but he did post the James Harden gif where it was whatever, it's
That's the worst gif I've ever seen.
that's fine.
Whatever Jeff just did there was perfect. I'm going to clip that later and turn it into an actual gif.
Huh. But then you also saw, Kenyon Martin voicing some frustration. And of course, we now know that he was one of the participants on the Zoom call tonight with the alumni that Coach Miller had. So, you see some of these things, and Corey Blunt's been very outspoken again, even using some of the exact same pictures that he used the last time we had a coaching search that didn't go the way that he agreed with. So, but then on the flip side of the coin, you see guys like Steve Logan, who have been out here and just championing.
Steve Logan just wants a job, to be honest with you, I think.
I mean,
Have we heard in the past that he's tried to get on mixed crew?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not against it, but yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah.
And then you also have DeMar, who just seems always very just chill and relaxed and just kind of goes with the flow of everything. James White kind of goes back and forth, not really sure where he stands on any of this, but, so what were some of your reactions to their reactions, and what did you feel like? Were they conducting themselves in ways that you saw healthy on the public, under the public eye on Twitter and what have you, or no, not?
I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
initially, sorry, Jeff.
go ahead, Ed.
Okay. Initially, last night, at first, my first gut reaction was, "Come on, guys, let's not do that." But then I started thinking about it and started reading some people's tweets, and they have a right to have an opinion. They have a right to, and some of them are still kind of really upset about what happened with Huggins, and so they're still upset with the university for that. So they have that right. They have that in the Bearcat fans who would tweet to them. There's a lot of them that tweeted to Kenyon Martin, and then when Kenyon would respond to him, then all of a sudden they delete the tweet like it's gonna go it's gonna go somewhere. Like if you have an opinion and you're gonna tweet at Kenyon Martin about that opinion, and he shoots back at you with an opinion, don't delete it. Be a man. Step up. Back up your opinion. And that's what I think some of the former players were doing. Now, with that all being said, just because, and in my opinion, and this is probably a hot take, but just because you graduated or you played for the university doesn't mean that when you decide you want to be a head coach, we have to make you the head coach of our university, right? Eric Martin, for what I know, has not applied for any other head coaching positions except for this one. I don't even think he applied last time when they hired.
I'm not sure there's an application process in the hiring of these coaches.
Well, there's a search firm, but yeah, I understand what you're saying, right? Whatever. But he hasn't ever expressed an interest in any other coaching positions that I know of. So, I mean, again, just because you played for the university doesn't mean you get to be a head coach for the university when you decide you want to be a head coach. Would it be nice to have some of these guys as a head coach? Yeah. Would it be nice to have some of these guys as an assistant coach? Even better, I think, because that gives them the chance to rise up to the head coach position. I would love to see someone like Kenyon Martin come back and be an assistant coach and rise up to that head coach position. Like, that would be amazing. Think about what it would do for recruiting. I mean, you see Penny and what's the guy from my mind's going to go blank, but the
Jerry
guy from Michigan.
Stackhouse.
No,
Juwan Howard.
yeah, Juwan Howard. They're having some success. I don't know if you call Penny's success. Like I
Old
still
Herbert, old Herbert Hubert. He was a he was a former player.
I don't know if you call
Tar Heel.
NIT win a success. Like I feel like there's some Cronin teams that could have won the NIT. I'm not going to say he's a success yet, but wow, what happened there? I think I just mini stroke. But it's they're allowed to have their opinions, but they're not granted that right to be our head coach when it comes around. If that's a hot take, I don't know.
I mean, I would agree with you there. My only thing is like, if your interest is truly in helping to fix the issue that is going on right now, which is the university has 4 scholarship basketball players and you need 5 to play a game, you shouldn't be dogging the new coach that just got selected, regardless of if you agree with it or not. You shouldn't be saying things like, man, we picked this guy from a school I've never even heard of. Like, why are we going to go out here? And I get it, like, if you're frustrated and some of these things are said out of frustration because you wanted, your buddy to come back. And I agree. Like, I wanted Eric Martin too, for the reasons I outlined earlier.
He was my number one choice.
It's not fair to the new coach coming in, and it's not fair to your alma mater to just go straight to the negative and blast it out there because you have huge fan bases. A guy like Kenyon Martin, that a lot of people, I mean, how many followers does he have on Twitter? A ridiculous amount.
He honestly, it wasn't as high as I had thought it would be. I want to say it was somewhere like only like 26,000, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I would have thought it would have been over 100.
But still, if you're a kid that's playing high school basketball and you're like, hey, where would I want to play basketball at the next level? Let's say you're a higher level recruit and you're like, man, Kenyon Martin, he went to UC. Let me, UC's one of my, oh, he's saying this new coach is garbage truck juice. Like,
Guys, Lumpy Mountain. Yeah.
I
get what you're saying. Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from here. Like, then you're like, well, man, Kenyon Martin, he went there. Like, he knows what it means to be there. He's saying they should have picked this guy and not this other dude. Like, I'm not even going to look at them anymore. I'm going to, turn my sights over here and I'm going to go play for Penny at Memphis. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you've got, when you want your university, you want to paint your university in the best light. You want to be able to paint the situation when it's something you don't know yet, because it's still an unknown for a lot of people. Wes Miller had success where he's at. He's got a long track record of turning a program around and then having success, albeit it was at a lower level program, but they were in the tournament this year and we weren't. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt here that he's going to be able to come in and change things around, and don't make it any harder for him by bashing everything right off the rip.
At the end of the day, he's under contract now for 6 years, and by any stretch of the imagination,
unless we find cause.
Well, I was going to say, by any stretch of the imagination, we've never seen a coach fired since Andy Kennedy. Other than, before John Brandon, you saw Andy Kennedy after a year, and that was because some comments that were made in a taxi cab.
He was still just an interim, though, wasn't he?
He was interim. Yeah, I think he was fired mostly because he was still under the Huggins era, and I think Zimfer just really wanted all Huggins gone.
He made racist comments in a taxi, like
that was after. That's when he came back. Yeah, he came back to play in Cincinnati, and he did that in Mount Adams.
Yeah, I thought that was while he was here.
I'm pretty sure he was. Yes, that whole incident was when he was coaching for
Ole Miss.
Yeah, when he was back here for a game, and I don't even think he was playing UC. I think it was a game against Xavier, Louisville, and he came up here, whatever. But yeah,
My whole point is we don't fire coaches very often, and we've never really seen it for record. Not since what, Tony Yates?
Probably.
So
Yeah,
that said,
December 2008 when he was coaching for Mississippi.
okay. So that said, chances are he's going to be here for 6 years unless somebody buys out his contract and he goes somewhere else, which means he probably did really well here, and I'm good with that. That's fine.
if I had to guess, I would like to see what those buyout numbers are because they're
After everything that just happened, they're probably pretty high.
Did you hear though? Speaking of buyout,
you think he had Tom Mars look over his contract first to make sure that it was
the contract had a red border around it.
I was going to say only if he drew a red border around the contract before he could read it.
Did you hear? Well, first of all, I heard Chad Brendel say today on Mo's show that there are players from UNC, not UNC Greensboro, but UNC Tar Heels, right? Saying if you come play for West, then you're basically you're one of us. We got your back. You're a Tar Heel, basically, right? So apparently there's like this love now between Charlotte and Cincinnati, and then that's
not even mentioning Roy Williams.
Exactly. The other thing, Roy Williams apparently just bought season tickets and made a huge donation to UCats.
Well, and he's joining UCats. He
bought
bought season tickets and made a huge donation, and he's joining UCats.
And he I don't remember. I feel bad for bringing this up because I don't remember what the publication was, but they had talked to Roy Williams, and he was like, "I can't wait to be in the stands next year." And that was before I heard anything about like season tickets or whatever. Like obviously the man doesn't need to buy season tickets. Like he could just show up, and they would be like, "Yeah, come on in." But
I would.
And so that goes to show what kind of character this guy has built for himself with the people who he is close with, like a Roy Williams. That's a big deal. And then you look at the guys who are part of the alumni that when was the last time we saw Kmart here? It's been several years. You do see Steve Logan around. You do see Corey Blunt around. You do see Meacham's at every game. You do see you see DeMar, you see Melvin Levitt, you see some of these guys, around and at the arena. Curtis Bostic, just trying to, name the guys that I can think of off the top of my head. Leonard Stokes for sure, yeah. But
friend of the show.
I think the last time that they had fans, I think Jacob Evans was there along with SK. They were at a game together. So you do see some of these guys coming back, or maybe it was Troy Caupain. Not SK was at a different game, but you do see these guys coming back, and no one's ever hearing though about any type of donation. There's no season tickets that I know of for any of these guys. So to see Roy Williams put his name on that like that, and just make such a public statement in support.
That's a guy.
A legendary coach like that, yeah.
It's crazy.
It makes you feel good. It makes you feel it should make John Cunningham feel real good about the hire he just made, right?
Absolutely.
With all the heat
he made. Well, right, because as bad as he handled it, and it ended up the way a lot of us kind of
assumed it was
going to say, like, nobody wants to see somebody lose their job and lose their livelihood, yada, 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 whatever. It had to end here. And as horribly as that was handled, I would say that the hiring process was... Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
I would say that the hiring process was handled, like, to a T perfectly.
What did you just do?
I had to get batteries from a vape.
Oh, okay, cool. No, you're right. What did Mo say this after, or maybe it was Chad? One of those two said he hired the best coach. He hired the best coach that was out there, out of the interview pool. So,
or at least the coach that would take 1.3.
1.3 million. Yeah, I would have took it. By the way, I would.
I'm making jokes about it because, who knows If
With the
Eric Martin, I just wonder if Eric Martin had taken the 1.1, if he would be right now the coach of Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Fair
I mean,
statement.
I
And Eric Martin put out a nice
when you look at
statement.
resumes of the people that were announced or talked about as being potential candidates for the opening, I think Wes Miller. I mean, I don't think I know Wes Miller had the best resume
Yes.
available.
Yes. Maybe an Archie, if Archie was ever actually truly considered.
I don't think
I
they
don't
ever
believe
really
he was.
considered him.
I agree.
I don't think he considered. I mean, and like I was just saying, Eric Martin put out a nice little post. Like it doesn't seem like he has any like
Sour
hatred.
grape.
The other thing though is like he's not going to come out and bash anything because if in the
He's
future
still a
he
coach.
wants, in the
Right.
future he wants to come here, or I mean, I think he's probably head coach and waiting down there in for West Virginia, right? I mean, who knows how long Bob Huggins is going to stick around?
He still has an associate head coach that isn't Eric Martin, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would think that would be the next guy up.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I'm not. It's
Fair.
I think we also
Okay.
heard from DeMar Johnson that, going back to the whole alumni thing, we also heard from DeMar Johnson on Twitter tonight that it was a good conversation that he had with the alumni, and apparently him and Kenyon were having some dialogue back and forth that, I don't know if it was good dialogue, bad dialogue, but it sounds like it was probably,
Anytime you're having an actual conversation, though, that's good dialogue.
exactly.
Whether it ends well or not, it's good to at least air it out there. I mean, we've all had situations, I'm sure, especially over, COVID and the political landscape and all of that, where we've had disagreements with somebody and been able to talk through things. And at the end of the day, like, having conversations is how you educate yourself. It's how you get better. It's how you build on where it is you're trying to go. So if you're not having those conversations, no one's moving. No one's getting better. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody took the time to actually talk to Kenyon Martin last time. And I'm happy that he was on the call. I don't think he was when John had his party last year, 2 years ago, when he was first hired and had the pictures and videos that we all saw when all the alumni were in the big tent in his backyard. I don't recall seeing Kenyon Martin there. So obviously
Just started. I think that was his second season with the Big Three or third season. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
my point is that he's at least making the connect.
Exactly. Hey, he did it.
We
through
learned
Zoom.
from Leonard Stokes that's very important.
He did it through Zoom. He did some recruiting through a telephonic website, which apparently somebody else didn't ever do.
Because you had to see him play in person.
Apparently. Why are you both just staring at me like that?
I was just listening to you talk, and I feel like you were really struggling. I'm not sure that you didn't have a heart attack earlier.
I said telephonic. It was a big word.
I will say. I mean, Ed's really been bringing the energy tonight, and it's more so than most nights. And he might be just tuckering out on the old gas tank.
I'll tell you what, though.
Just puttering out.
He's like,
You guys said it to me last week. I was like, what did I do different? What was different?
He's on the,
And I-
Oh, you mean when you were on Strawberry Ice?
But
Ed's basically right now. Ed is like driving that car home from vacation, and he's looking at the gas, and he's like, "Man," he's like, "I
don't want to stop.
He's like,
I don't wanna
think I
stop."
can make it 3 more exits, and maybe roll off the exit into the gas station and fill back up. That's where we're at right now with Ed.
I'm not ready to wake the kids up yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
that happened. I got to the Wilder exit in Kentucky, and I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to have enough gas to get home, but I still made it all the way back to Milford.
God.
That happened for sure.
We were gonna have to
No,
cancel the
what it is-
podcast that night because Ed was gonna be calling like, "Hey guys, I'm stuck on 275."
Goes, pick it up.
Is
Is
he
this your
back on the is he back on the talk boy? Is that what that was?
Yeah. Hey
No,
guys, he's
that.
he's the narwhal from from
Guilty, I
Elvis.
hope you find your dad.
Find your dad.
No, I think
Hi.
what it is, I think
Hi,
Chad
kid.
Brendan's rubbing off on me.
Hi, kids. We're home early.
Oh man,
Can we buy one of those on eBay? No,
they're expensive. I've looked them
Yeah,
up.
they are.
Don't try.
I wonder if my mom and dad still have it in the basement. I've been listening to your podcast, and I've been listening to the emergency podcast that Chad has had.
You mean the Bearcat Bounce podcast that you can find on bearcatjournal.com?
No, Aaron, he's talking about 105, baby, 105.
I listened to that whole podcast.
Our podcast?
Yeah.
From last week?
You could have been on it. You were
Yeah.
upstairs watching Schitt's Creek.
No, Married at First Sight.
He was watching Married at Schitt's Creek.
They haven't got married yet. I'm only on season 3. But anyways, I think that's where that energy came from. I've been hearing like Chad and Mo talk back and forth, and I think I'm like picking up on that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what it was.
You guys are like,
Also,
one-on-one
when Strawberry asked me to come on the show, I was getting ready to cut the grass, so I was cutting the grass, so I had a lot of time to think about what I was going to say. Plus, I knew it was only going to be like 15 minutes, and not a whole hour that had to fill up.
I mean, you brought the fire.
Remember when
the Reds need to hit more.
Remember when we used to do this podcast and it was just me and you?
Yeah. On the basement.
Whew.
Those were the
I used
days.
to call
How
into
we
that
did hour and a half episodes.
I used to call into that
No idea.
podcast.
You did. You called as somebody in Norwood.
I did.
Yeah, I think I have that clip somewhere still.
It's funny.
I can look for it.
There's no need to look for it now. Have we kind of covered about everything we're going to cover with
Pretty much covered.
I mean, I'm excited to see what happens here because I think we should have some answers. I would like to think before the end of the weekend on who's staying.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say who's staying. Like
between
between Mason and Mikey and Tari, I think we should at least
Ooh.
know. We should at least know answers for 2 of the 3 before I would think Sunday.
I think Mason's probably like
He is following Wes Miller on the Twitter.
He's got to be in your in like the upper probably 90% that he's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's if Wes Miller extends the
Olive branch.
Come back. Otherwise, he might just be like, nah.
Deuces.
I'll look for somebody else. Ed's real excited about something.
Hey, the Bearcats basketball team just put out some Bearcats football work with this videography on this announcement of Coach Wes Miller that they just released about 9 minutes ago. Like this, I haven't been able to like actually watch it and listen to it.
The graphics team is working again.
Graphics team is working again. They got the shot of the plane coming in. They rolled out a red carpet. I can't wait to watch this.
Dogecoin's up to 32 cents.
I'm gonna retweet. Stop with the Dogecoin.
To the moon. And then tomorrow morning, I think it's 11. B Fox thought it was today, but it's not. It's tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Is that what happened?
Huh? B Fox was like, I when you think like I went to the press conference a day early, I won't be taking any questions at this time.
I didn't hear him say a day early. I'm sorry, that's my bad.
Yeah, I guess he went there today, and obviously nothing was going on. But
Wes was it?
He tomorrow is going to be the press conference. Obviously, press conferences are always very exciting, and hopefully he shows more energy. I think he shows more energy and character already from some of the clips I've seen of him on the sideline than our recently departed coach.
What if he walks up on that stage with Mikey Saunders and Tari Easton? Like, look at that. I love that. What if he walks up on that stage with Mikey Saunders and Tari Easton and says, "We're back," and then just walks right off the stage?
They're going to say, running it back. Running it back.
To the moon.
I just want to see both of them tweet Wolf on Wall Street, like I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. So I think we'll get a little bit more, obviously, of his.
Does that mean Mason has to quote Leonardo DiCaprio from The Departed and say, "I'm not the rat."
Oh man. Maybe.
Just saying.
I think we'll start to get some answers as far as like what his vision is and what he intends to do here in the near future. As far as like hitting the portal, and I mean, you're not gonna be able to fix anything, I don't think, with recruits right off the rip.
No. But I do expect him to actually have recruits,
right?
Compared to our last coach.
You're not gonna be able. You can't build a championship out of the portal players. Like I take the back. You can't build a program 100% out of the portal. You're gonna have to fill in some spots. We've still got some good anchors that are here.
Again, well, they did announce today that the regular recruiting schedule, the regular schedule, is going to go back to normal on June 1st, which means between now and June 1st is when anybody who's trying to leave their current program can still freely transfer. So I think between now and June 1st is when you're going to see players who are starting to contemplate, oh, there's somebody who just came in. I'm not going to get the minutes that I was going to get. Between now and June 1st is when you'll see that second wave. But unfortunately, that's also when musical chairs ends.
And we're not talking about a second wave of COVID.
Thanks, Ed. I know we talked about that last week, Aaron, but and I know you've been on several other podcasts spinning your wares of that, but I think that second wave isn't what you want if you're trying to fix this what we've got now.
Oh, I don't disagree. Right? I'm just saying at least we have a timetable now. Like that's my entire 100%. Point is I don't know that there was, I mean there certainly wasn't one before today, and now you at least have a deadline for when musical chairs ends. I think that was the importance of that June 1st date being announced, is that's going to be the start of the getting things back on track and all of that. So
100.
Well played.
You should have put the percent sign behind it.
You should have put the KJ GIF that you made.
Oh, the picture. Yeah, I don't have that available right now.
Well, anyway, for what it's worth, I think that we have officially turned the corner, and we'll find out tomorrow morning exactly how excited we should be. At least we're going to have some new fun things to talk about going forward. I know. Because, God, we beat that horse into the ground. I can't believe people are still listening, because every podcast for the last 4 months, it seems like, has started with like well, I take that back. The one podcast was positive, and then it was all bad after that. Just RIP to the Coach John Brandon era. We'll see you later. And we won't have to talk about it again, except for, remember how bad that was? Huh. Thanks, Ed. That was some talent. All right. What would you like to move into next? Moving on. You want to touch quickly on Bengals stuff? Since next week is going to be. I think we can. Should we drop a spoiler?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Maybe. I know we've been teasing it. That it's
How about this?
Big.
How about this? What's today? Today is
the 15th.
Well, I just mean today's Thursday, right?
Thursday.
And we're podding on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So how about this? Saturday, we'll release one guest on our Twitter. Sunday, we'll release one guest on our Twitter. And Monday, we'll release one guest on our Twitter.
Are we up to all three? I thought one of the three wanted to.
All three are confirmed as of today. They did get back to us. Come on, man.
I know they did, but I thought that the one said that they didn't want to be on until after.
Maybe you don't know who our third is. Boom.
That's because I don't have access to the.
It's true. Talk to the producer. Talk to the producer.
The producer up there doesn't give anybody access to anything. You know, I'm out here putting the show on my back, and I don't get access to anything.
Put the whole show on his back, though. He's got the broken leg, though.
I'll get you the information. I didn't know you didn't. I thought I sent it to you with all the pictures you wanted.
No, you didn't. That's okay. We'll release all three over the weekend, and everybody can be excited about it. Yay! But it is going to be a good Bengals podcast with people that are much smarter than I am.
I will say I'm really excited about all three of our guests. I will say that we were not ever going to beat what the Civil War was able to get together with with New Stripe City. That was pretty epic.
That's a good podcast.
Did you watch the one that dropped today?
I saw Hugh on there.
Hugh and TJ
and Elise Jesse Elise.
Yeah.
Speaking of TJ Hushmanzada, did you see him crush Colin Cowherd's dreams? Because that guy's a moron. He's like, trying to talk about Julian. And he's like, nobody is will be able to argue with me over Chad. And he's like, he wasn't that good.
He didn't run good routes.
He couldn't even run a route. And he was like, excuse me. And then he was like, can he block?
Who cares?
Nobody cares.
There's not a stat. No one made it into the Hall of Fame because they could block as a receiver. Get out of here, man.
I would agree with that. Colin Cowherd, bum of the week.
We're getting into that already.
It was pretty bad. He's done. He quit.
I'm back.
Also, the Ring of Honor, I think we touched on last week, but the jerseys are starting to leak, and
Monday the jerseys get announced.
Well, they're starting.
Officially.
CBS.
I don't want to hear your nonsense leaks. I don't want to see any.
CBS
leaks.
Sports had pictures of the potential rookies we could be drafting that had Malik Wright and Joe Goodberry are saying 100% they are confirmed. They
100?
used the words 100%, not my words. I'm quoting them.
100.
Jerk faces.
100.
Oh, I hate that we jumped off of Bearcats basketball already because Aaron dropped some serious bombs in Twitter DMs about his favorite basketball players from the Cronin era.
We have moved on, and I didn't. You did. That's fine.
Aaron picked Jelon Gwynn.
No, you picked Jelon Gwynn. Quadri Moore.
Aaron appointed himself as the head of the quad squad.
I never said it. I hate Quadri Moore so much.
Remember when Quadri Moore's girlfriend was sitting behind us at a game?
No.
You don't remember? No. It was, yeah.
Was I sober?
I think it was the beginning of the
Were
game.
You driving?
Yeah, I think I drove home.
Then there's no shot I was sober.
Yeah. Remember there's that group of people and they're like, hey, what do you think of Quadri Moore? We're like, oh, he's okay. They're like, she's dating him. And I'm like,
all right.
Good story. All right.
Sorry, I threw a curveball.
Yakums.
So yeah, we're gonna have a lot. I mean, it'll probably just be one hundo Bengals podcast next week.
Yep.
Which
that's fine. Let Coach Miller get his ducks in a row before we talk about the moves that he's made. let the Reds figure out if they're going to win or lose
Win.
before we talk about that. And then we have
Castellanos impersonation.
And then we have the draft in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Something like that. It's a live draft this year too, by the way.
It's always a live draft. It didn't happen. It's not taped.
I mean, it's in person. Come with the heat, guys. Come with the heat, man.
Well, I mean, you did come with the heat, but that was lukewarm at best.
Tepid.
Tepid water. That you need to pull off the next exit and fill the gas tank up, man.
In Twitter, piece of shit.
Whoa.
It's a family show.
Yeah. They're gonna strip our PG rating.
You said the other. Now I put explicit on every time. Just like there's you want to read a tweet and then it just goes away.
It's always the one that you're reading, right?
Absolutely.
It's never the one at the top. It's never the one at the bottom. It's the one that's always right in the middle, and it just is replaced with an ad. Hate it. Speaking of Reds, let's talk about those Reds. So, the Reds started off super hot. What, 6-1, right?
Hmm?
And since then, I believe they're 4-5.
They were 2-4 on their road trip.
Or I'm sorry, not 4-5.
2-4 on their road trip.
So, what happened between Arizona and San Francisco?
I mean,
The bats cooled off.
That's cooled off a little bit. I mean, like the second game in San Francisco, you know, they scored 6 runs and they lose 7-6 because their bullpen kind of let them down. I'll admit I fell asleep before that one was over. They start too late for me. I'm old and I don't make it very far into the games.
Yeah, but your kids don't sleep.
Oh, my kids sleep sometimes. Guy, I fell asleep. All right, it happens.
All that wood you were busy laying all weekend.
Floor. I was putting a floor down.
Yeah, no, you were laying wood.
It was laminate. It's Pergo. Not even real.
Bye, Ed.
God bless. No, I mean I don't think you're gonna like have like, yeah, they're not gonna win 6 out of every 7 games for.
Why was that so difficult for him?
I don't know. I've got nothing on that. What it comes down to, well, hold on, let me check the standings because I'm sure there were some games today. We might be a half game out. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to any of the other games. I should be scoreboard watching already.
Week 3, we're already scoreboard watching.
Yeah. Okay, maybe Milwaukee didn't play today. So we're 7-5. We're still first place. We're 6-4 in our last 10. We are on a 2-game little skid here, but you know, I mean, we have the plus 19 run differential is nice.
Losing two of our last 4 games though, as shutouts, that's not good.
Yeah, those are you know, I'm not gonna you know, start calling for heads or anything.
No, that's not what I'm trying to allude to, but
I think really they need to make some decisions. I mean, Lorenzen just got moved to the 60-day DL with, I guess, some more stuff with his shoulder. But when you lift like 80,000 pounds at a time, I'm sure you're going to run into some shoulder issues. The flexibility tends to go away when you get bigger like that. It is what it is. Like at some point you get to some diminishing returns when you're bulking up like that.
Yeah.
And he may have reached them. So I'm hoping whatever it is, you know, at the end of that 60-day stint, he's corrected, whatever it is. Hopefully there's no surgery involved. If there is, obviously that would not be good. They did sign Philip Deal, who's a local guy,
Hometown
Cincinnati, and Moeller. I believe he was with the Rockies last.
Yes.
But as our friend Clay Snowden said, he is in fact just a guy to fill a role here.
Which honestly may be better than Cam Bedrosian.
Oh God. Okay. The bullpen is what it is. The only probably bright spot. I mean, I like him. Amir Garrett hasn't been very sharp.
Nobody has, and in all fairness, pitching in San Francisco,
TJ Antone has been a monster.
lights out. Well, Lucas Sims has been very good also.
Lucas Sims, TJ Antone, Wade Miley has been really good.
Man, but I mean, if we're talking about bullpen, but he's not.
Okay.
He's not bullpen.
Right, exactly. I'm just going down who has kind of surprised me with how well they've pitched.
Doolittle surprised me in the opposite way. He's not been very sharp.
He wasn't very good last year.
Makes me wonder when you sign a guy who the costs were about the same, but Archie, where'd your sound go?
He's still here. Oh,
Yeah.
your sound is gone.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did you kick a cable out? Great podcasting.
There you're back.
Hey. Yeah. Old Redbeard should be here still.
Man. Not you, Ed.
Ed.
Yours is too white.
Gray.
I
It is
said
going away.
what I
But
said.
no, I see what you're saying, and I agree. I don't know. I don't know. The bullpen is obviously a question mark, and it's going to be an issue. There's some defensive issues that we knew were going to happen. I mean, they're going to have to put up a lot of runs to kind of cover some of these things up.
I did see that potentially we could end up making a trade to get some bullpen help. And
who are you gonna? Aquino? You could probably shop Aquino right now.
Aquino
and hope that you can get somebody to bite.
I mean,
somebody worthwhile.
Honestly, I'd probably go a different direction if I was shopping an outfielder.
Who?
Sell high right now on Nakin.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Knockin. I believe it's Knockin. It's French.
French.
Yep. Well, I call him Nakin because I am American.
Sounds too close to
Wow,
naked.
That's really close-minded of you. Okay.
Yeah, way to go. I'm not going to.
You really you would sell high on Nakin and not on Aquino?
If crypto's taught me anything, you buy in the dips and you sell when they're at their highest. And I don't know that he's going to be any higher than what he is right now. I don't know that this is. I don't know if this is sustainable because he's playing off the back of his baseball card.
Well, this is very true. He is, but he's also had like injury issues, and he hasn't had those here. But I was surprised to see him on the bench as much as he was out in San Francisco. I feel like he didn't play as much.
Well, he was in Cleveland most recently, yeah?
Right. Yes. Correct. I'm talking about this last series.
Fair enough.
Uh,
You also just got Winker back, and he had a hot bat. I mean,
yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and you're not going to sit Castellanos.
Absolutely not. And I am still optimistic. Things are. I mean, if you win 7 out of every 12 games,
You're in the playoffs.
that's 94 wins.
You're in the playoffs with 94 wins. Let's keep it all the way real.
Real.
We're gonna have we got a little bit of a challenge here with. It really would have been nice to sweep let's say one of these series out west. The Reds never play well out west. They just
I wouldn't even cared if we
But-
swept. Like, I'm not even looking
I'm
for a
just saying.
sweep. Even if we could have just taken 2 of 3 from each.
They should have been able to sweep the Diamondbacks because the Diamondbacks are bad. And then the Giants are the second oldest team in baseball right now.
Can we talk about how their entire
And they're-
starting rotation is
They're full
previous Reds?
They're full of they're full of like secondhand cast-offs, except for like Buster Posey. Like
Every one of their starting pitchers, for the most part, I mean, I think it's almost every one of them. You have
Gosman,
Cueto, Disco.
We didn't see him out there though, did we?
No, we didn't. You also have Alex, the lefty, Alex Wood. He's out there. I mean, that's 4 of your 5 in your rotation.
And poor Cueto,
Looking
He's
like
like-
Charles Barkley golfing.
he throws that pitch at like 57, 58 pitches in, and then he turned and looked at the dugout and he was like, "It's
Yeah,
over," which
done.
is a similar sign to what he made in 2012 when he was out there and said, "I'm done," and then they had to go bring in one at Leto.
Remember that?
Shit the bed.
He pitched very well out there. We won.
Yeah.
No, the Reds in that series shit the
Oh,
bed.
Yes, they did, and I watched it. It made me cry.
Up to
I was
nothing.
there. Is that for sale, Ed?
For sale? Yeah, absolutely.
Did you sell the picture
Yeah. Sold it for $20.
to Matt Latos?
Somebody in the garage sale last year.
Why?
But obviously, I mean, the season started off very, very well. They've hit a slight bump in the road here. Obviously, I don't think it's anything to be like super concerned about yet. But the makings of a very bad bullpen are there, and they need to fix some stuff. Whether that's bringing some guys up from the alternate site and saying hell, I wouldn't be against them bringing Hunter Green up and putting him in the bullpen and
Or
saying,
Lodolo.
Either one of them, bring them up, let them get the experience. And if Hunter Green is hitting 105 miles an hour, bring him up and just let him throw some gas for a while. Hopefully, he can locate it.
So let me ask you this, because today is Jackie Robinson Day, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
all the players are wearing 42 today. And I don't know if you remember how Jackie Robinson Day started, but it started when Ken Griffey Jr. decided he wanted to wear 42, and he called the MLB front office to ask if it was okay if he wore 42. And he was the first one to do this in honor of Jackie Robinson. And then the whole league started doing it shortly thereafter. So my question to you, as today on April 15th, it started with the Reds, and we have an off day because the schedule makers can't get their shit right. But do you think, the same way that I do, that it's kind of bullshit that the Reds start something like this and
Aaron, the Reds started baseball, and they don't even give us opening day, the first game to open the season anymore. So MLB doesn't give 3. I'm not going to use bad language. MLB doesn't care. MLB doesn't. They don't care about Cincinnati. They don't.
I think it goes beyond the MLB. I think it's just like all sporting, whether it be college basketball, college football. We talked about it last week. Did we talk about that? No, we didn't even talk about that last week. It didn't come out last week. It came out this past.
It hadn't come out yet. You got
number
left
27.
Yeah.
What is it? The FPIs, PFIs, whatever it is. FPI, yeah.
The Football Power Index or whatever they call it.
Right. Like, okay, we're 20. Like the it's starting already to make sure that we're not going to be ranked high enough to where even if we win everything, we still can't get,
including beating Indiana and Notre Dame. And
even if we win out, we're going to be ranked low enough to start things out that we can't get in. They're just setting the table already for no respect. But I think it goes for all major sports, whether it be football, whether it be college, the Bengals get no love. Got one Hall of Famer, even though Ken Riley's numbers, Kenny Anderson's numbers, better than people who are actually in the Football Hall of Fame. No love. Absolutely ridiculous. So you do agree that we kind of shitty that we start something and don't even get to participate in it.
Yes.
Because we had an off day.
Terrible.
I think every team should play on Jackie Robinson Day. Period.
Yeah.
Don't have Jackie Robinson Day on a day where you can't figure out how to make the schedules work. Get everybody playing on the same day. And that is my bum of the week. Schedule makers.
MLB schedule makers.
When did we get into bum of the week?
Well, Jeff already said.
We've been throwing them out as we've been going along.
Oh, okay. Well,
Hey,
since we're talking about
If
baseball,
you guys are thirsty and you want to put your beer in a koozie that also has a tube off the bottom of it, be sure to pick up your beer Kong.
Bong Kong.
The Bong Kong.
Kong Bong.
The Kong Bong. Pick it up. There's a ticker at the bottom of the screen.
Get your Bong Kong Bong.
And while you're at it, you can even rub on some beard jelly.
Ed, didn't you take the top off your beer tonight when you were drinking it?
I did.
How did you do that, Ed?
No, they won't work with us. No, I'm not even saying what. I sent them an email. They're not going to work with us.
Can't imagine why.
Take the top off my AHA water.
Did it work though?
How did we? What?
We went off the rails because
that's what we do.
There's really just not a whole lot to dissect with anything else. We spent our gas tank on UC basketball again.
We're talking about baseball then. My bum of the week is going to be Alex Rodriguez for buying the Timberwolves because nobody on the team knows who he is, and he just really wanted to buy a team. But you know you're not supposed to have a big purchase after a breakup. He did though. He did.
That's also how they announced their breakup.
What?
Saying that they're better off friends. Like that came out today as actual news. Like the public statement. Oddly enough. They're better off as friends. Yeah, because he's banging other people. Like, you probably are better off as friends.
And he was dancing for the prep for the Super Bowl.
Nice. This has rapidly become not a sports
I'm
podcast.
just Jimmy from the block. Used to have a little, now I have a lot.
He's a baseball player. It still counts.
Came from
Taco flavor keys.
You gotta have some J-Lo.
Where'd you go?
Why are you muted?
Who muted me?
Nobody.
The best part is that on the podcast, on the audio version, they're still going to hear me. But if they watch the video version, they're not going to hear a thing I said.
What did you do?
Somebody muted me.
Did you hit? Is there like a keystroke you can do to do that?
No, I don't think so, unless there is, and I don't know about it.
Speaking of strokes, Ed had one tonight during the show.
Oh man!
I don't have any J-Lo in here.
Please don't play J-Lo.
Please don't play J-Lo.
Oh, I got JoJo.
She lip syncs anyway. Get out of here. All
Who
right.
does?
Jennifer Lopez.
Oh.
Now you're going to get us taken off of. Turn it off. They're going to take us.
Demonetized.
They're going to take us off. They're going to take us off of podcasts. They're going to just take the whole episode. Yeah, they'll take it down on YouTube.
You'll DMCA us.
We'll get a cease and desist letter.
I don't think that will really happen.
It's all automated now, so it doesn't matter how many people watch.
Just like Twitter. If you say something wrong, you're done.
Torched.
You're done. Oh my God! What's happening right now? Why?
Get off my lawn.
Why are you
Get
trying to
off
get?
my lawn.
You're trying to get us banned.
I'm not. We've gone off the rails. I think we're done at 1:25.
In the morning.
It's only 11:18 in the morning. I still have to edit and
11:18.
well,
But you're the
night.
best. You're the best podcast producer there is, though, because this podcast will be up tonight.
darn right it will. We need a name though.
Miller time. You're welcome.
Somebody's already selling a T-shirt. Saw it out there on the internet already.
Yeah, I saw somebody in our Facebook Bearcat Nation.
Miller
thing.
High Life, the champagne of Bearcats.
Ooh, the champagne of Bearcats.
Somebody photoshopped
No
that.
one has said that. No
Miller
one has
High
said
Life.
that. Miller High Life, the champagne of Bearcats.
The champagne. Go ahead.
Jeff, make that image so I can put it on a T-shirt. We could sell it. That whole $12.50.
Miller High Life, the champagne of Bearcats.
Aaron, you do anything special this weekend?
Actually, you probably can't use Miller High Life because it's their actual slogan, that's trademarked.
Yeah, so is the Miller Time shirt that is being sold right now.
Yeah.
But it's
Make it
Miller
sick.
Time. I don't know what the rules are. Am I doing anything special this weekend? Yes, I'm going to be credentialed and I'll be at the Red and Black game. Working.
Oh, so PTP is going to be at the Red and Black game. This is awesome.
Nope. Bearcat Journal will be at the Red and Black game.
But you'll be wearing a PTP T-shirt, right?
Nope. Because I'll be
PTP
working.
hat?
Working. Well,
Yes, PTP hat. I'm the only one with a PTP hat.
Chad's going to give me a Bearcat Journal hat. So
What about a PTP stick-on tattoo?
Ooh, we have stickers.
Ooh, hand out some stickers.
I'll put it on my Trapper Keeper.
Yes.
Yo, I put it on the back of my phone.
Oh,
I never got a sticker either.
I mean,
Oh, that's one.
I just have a spec.
Yeah, just have a. Oh, you can't see because it's getting cut out by the background deletion thing.
If any phone case companies want to sponsor us, go ahead and pardon the punctuation at gmail.com.
We do excellent reads.
We do.
A
You give
read.
us a read, and we'll read it and make it
Oh, like
better.
can we promote like our Twitter, Facebook, YouTube page because we only have like
I like how you called Beer Kong a sponsor, but they're not really a sponsor, more of a
like an affiliate.
affiliate.
They're like, hey, sell our stuff for us.
Yeah, but the sponsor sounds real good.
Yeah, but it's not. That's
it's
not
a
it.
sponsor.
They're not a sponsor. They're not
We
a
need to get a sponsor, Ed. Why don't you work on that?
What is Aaron's a salesman?
My internet doesn't suck. Your ticker at the bottom sucks. You put the wrong thing up.
Buy a T-shirt.
Spreadshirt.com/pardon-the-punctuation. Get some PTP gear. Help our bank account go above $12.50.
Make it to where Ed has to claim it.
Yeah, get
500?
it up there where Ed's got to claim it on his
he's
taxes.
the only one getting paid.
This is sole proprietorship.
I'm not getting paid. We used the first round of money for Zoom last year.
Now to buy the Zoom membership.
We made $25 in our first launch of the T-shirts. We spent $20 on Zoom and $5 on audio recording stuff.
Oh,
We did. It's true.
that was a good move. Now we're echoing.
We
No,
are
we're not.
echoing.
Not on my side.
I heard it.
Side that matters.
Oh, is it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ed comes back and suddenly his is the side that matters. 105.
I did an episode by myself once. All by myself.
All alone?
Yeah.
He
Best
spoke.
of
He spoke for 3 minutes and said it was the longest 3 minutes of his entire life.
it seemed like I spoke for a long time, and then when I looked at it said 3 minutes or something like that. But yeah.
You did a 3-minute episode, Ed?
Well, I talked for 3 minutes, and then I put some best of clips, but we were only like 3 months in, so there wasn't really a lot of best of clips. But
You can imagine how great that episode was. It didn't have 105 downloads. Let's just put it that way.
that was it. I'm looking it up right now. Best of PTP 113. Episode number 11.
Compiler.
Like 3 years ago. Awesome. So next week we do have a very exciting Bengals show. I'm gonna plug it again. Tune in, be here. Are we gonna do that one live?
Yes.
Are we?
100%.
100.
Okay. That's fine. We do it live. That's fine.
Got him.
What are you upset about? Because he said 100%?
Yep. It's in his vocabulary now.
Yes.
100.
The
Just say
Quad
that
Squad
Lions-
leader. Captain Quad Squad.
Punch you
So we've got that, and then I assume we'll have
right in
at
the womb.
least two-thirds of those guests, maybe those three plus one more after the draft, right?
Right in the baby maker.
Right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Will it probably be the same three plus one more after? That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know the answer to
Should
those
be
questions.
worth though. Should be worth. It will
Worth it.
definitely be worth everyone's listening time.
Worth its weight.
I'm not sure how many people we're allowed to have on this.
Worth its weight in gold. If not, we can read. Huh?
We can have up to 6 people on the show at the time.
That's all we need.
Okay,
All
good.
we need for next week. And we'll figure out.
And we can find out from. We can try and reach out to old Zim Hude and Ace Boogie and see what they've been using for their streams for the Civil War, because they've had more than 6.
They're probably using the same system, but they're paying for it.
Mm.
Mm.
We have $12.50 to pay for it.
Please buy some gear.
Beer Kong.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/pardon-thus-punctuation.
Beer
Buy
jelly.
PPE gear. Beer jelly and a Kong bong. Get you one. Summertime is coming up. You want to be able to put away those beers quick, fast, and in a hurry. Get your Kong bong.
And have
Or
the
your-
softest beards.
That's right. If you don't have a soft beard, you need to get rid of it.
Use code word for everything.
I think
Damn,
it's
we are
code Ed. Code Ed.
$7.50 off of being able to have that, purchase that for 1 month.
Do what?
Oh,
We're
okay.
$7.50
We'll look into
off.
that.
Purchase it for 1 month.
Wow. Okay. We need some people to buy some gear. We need
What
This
if
is what it comes down to.
Roy Williams made a donation?
What if the 2 other hosts of this podcast bought some gear?
I'm busy.
New phone.
I have to go work for BCJ.
Jeff's mic isn't working again. We need to buy Jeff a new mic. He's out still.
is it back?
There
Yeah.
you go.
It's this mute button that I have over here that I hit.
More than once?
Can you guys
What?
sell some of your Doge coins and buy some gear?
Ooh. What are we up to at the end of the episode?
End of the episode. The Doji coin. Face
It was
ID.
down.
Thank you. It is at $275. No,
How much is
26.9 cents.
Oh, it's dipping.
Buy the dip. Up, back up over 27 cents. Let's go.
Oh
To
my
the
god.
moon.
It's
To the
been
moon.
really high tonight apparently.
It is up.
It got up to 33 cents at one point.
It's up 100. It's up 108% today.
I've made quite a bit of money on my investment.
good?
Nice.
Buy a hat, buy a T-shirt.
It
I'm the
did
only
go
one who
up to
wears a
33
hat on this
cents.
show.
I'm not cashing. I'm riding into the moon, Ed.
Just cash some of it and get a hat. Look,
You talk like you have. You know what you have, Ed? You have paper hands. You have to have diamond hands, Ed.
Diamond hands, Ed.
what's that mean?
To the moon.
To the moon.
Look at this hat.
Hashtag stonks.
Stonks. I will not wait till Tops goes public and I can buy some stonks and tops.
Are you gonna ride it to the moon?
Yeah, absolutely.
All I know is that PSA isn't going to take cards until like next year. So I can't send my Tiger Woods rookie card in.
Tiger Woods, y'all.
Cards.
What?
They're taking the high service cards.
Yeah.
This is the conversation that we have off the air. So for Ed
Yep.
and Jeff, I'm Aaron. This thing has gone way off the rails. We do apologize. If you're still with us, our special guests, just
Pay attention to the Twitter.
we'll tell you real soon here. Okay, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
But